Welcome everyone. Welcome to JS Unfiltered. My name is Jason. This is Sam, and we
Yo.
are JS Unfiltered. So we got a lot to unpack this week as well. We got a lot of things to talk about. So let's get started and let's get rocking and rolling, shall we? So I'm going to put out a poll here to the internet world because I've had something personally happen to one of my kids, and I just wanted to get everyone's point of view, if you will. All right. So my youngest, he's 14 years old. He just started dating, and this week alone, I think he's realized how much work a relationship is. It's just not pinpointing to someone and saying, you know what, I like you. I want to spend more time with you. Relationships are a lot of work, and they only work if both people actually do something about it as well. Let me give you a little backstory of what happened. Since Wyatt started school, my youngest, he's been extremely busy. He's in marching band, he's in concert band, he's also in something called cybersecurity, which is not offered to every student. He had to do certain things to actually get invited to that course, right? So on a weekly basis, he has band practice on Monday, what are called sectionals on Tuesday, band practice on Wednesday. He has youth group on Thursday, and on Friday, 9 times out of 10, he either has a football game, a performance, something. So, of the 5 days that he goes to school, he's pretty much busy every single day. He has something going on. All right. So, about 2 weeks' time or so, it's something called homecoming. I'm pretty sure everyone's heard of that before. If you've gone to high school, you've heard of the homecoming dance. Everybody makes a big deal about it, right? Well, he forgot. He forgot to ask his girlfriend if she wanted to go. So he knew he dropped the ball. He got her a little upset. Yes. Okay. But here's in the week, about Monday or so, he was trying to scramble around how he could fix this because he felt he was in the doghouse really with her. And we're running around, scrambling around, and it kind of broke my heart a little bit too, because he's like, Dad, I'm trying my best. I'm really trying my best. And I'm like, dude, I know you are. It's just that you have so much going on, it slipped your mind. I mean, one thing you just have to realize of women, sometimes they just want to make sure that they're being noticed. And it's really hard. It really is. I mean, granted, nothing is stopping this girl from asking him if he wanted to go. No one's stopping him from doing that. But the aspect of the whole thing is, sure, they're okay now, but she would have wanted him to ask. And should he have asked? Of course he should have asked. He just dropped the ball. He forgot. He was so busy, so on and so forth. So here's the question to the internet folks there. Should he be in the doghouse with his girlfriend at this particular time? Does he need to fix it right away? Or was there any problem with the girl asking? What do you guys think? Sam, what are your thoughts on that? I know you're old as dirt now, but still, when you were in high school, how did you feel when something like that would happen?
It's like I say with any relationship, whether you're in high school, middle school, you're in your 20s, 30s, or you're 70 years old like Jason, you gotta make sure it comes down to one thing: good communication. I'm like a stickler for that in my relationships, right?
Mm,
Like whether it be relationship with my significant other, a friend, a boss, a coworker, right? I feel like it's so important in every kind of relationship that you have is that you have really good communication with people. You
right,
have really
right.
good communication with others, and you're not only speaking, but you're listening. And that's one thing that we always forget to do, is that God gave us 2 ears and one mouth, because we got to listen twice as much as we speak. And I remember growing up, being in high school and going into college. And one of the things that I learned as I grew up was that sometimes people don't always mean what they say, and they don't always say what they mean. And that especially comes through with women, right? Because they could be saying something, and in their mind, it's as obvious as, the nose on your face. But when us men hear it, it's Egyptian, right? Because what do you mean you didn't know? I gave you so many clues.
Just
I
say it,
don't
dang
need
it.
more
How hard is that?
clues. I'm not a detective. I need to know
Exactly.
what's going
Tell,
on.
just tell me what you want. How hard is that? Good Lord, just say it. I'm not a freaking mind reader. Damn.
Exactly. And You know, when you're that age in high school, like I look back in my memories about, you know, interactions I've had with girls back then, and like you think back to high school and you're like, wait a second, like when that one girl said this, that means that means she liked me, but I never did anything about it because I was a
Mm,
dumb high school kid. So I
mm.
missed out on so much, you know? It's like,
Right,
and
right.
it's just hilarious, like thinking back to that when as an adult.
Mhm, mhm.
All those clues, all those things that you missed out on because you just weren't a good communicator. Jason, I don't know how much you know about my life before I met you, but when I was in high school, man, I was as shy as they come, bro.
Really?
I I really was on the coattails of other friends, and when it comes to social interactions, like if we're
Mhm.
gonna go out as a group, I'm not the initiator for that back then. I'd
Right.
have to ask my friend that I'm comfortable with, like, "Hey, can you invite everybody so that we can go out? Hey, can you set this up so that we all go out?" Because I was too shy to do anything like that.
Mhm. Mhm.
I was so shy before in middle school, I hardly had any friends. I didn't really hang out with a lot of people. I just, like, came home and was in my computer by myself, and it wasn't until high school that I actually started going out with friends on a
Mhm.
regular basis, just
Right.
because I was such a shy kid, and I know I'm going a little bit off topic, but, you know, it's those things that we grow into, and the same thing with your son is that he's gonna have to grow from these social interactions that he has, especially with girls, right?
Yes, yes.
Because he's gonna learn. That's the only way that we learn, you know, and
Yeah, exactly, and that's, the message I was trying to convey to him. I'm like, "Dude, this is your very first girlfriend. This is like a this is I want it to last forever. It may not last forever, but this is like the training part, you know? This is where you guys get to know each other. Yes, they've known each other since 7th grade, but it's different now because now you guys start having feelings towards each other, and it's going to be different. The friendship thing is gone. You know, even if you guys do split up, you never know if that happens. They may be, but they may still stay friends. 9 times out of 10, probably not. I can't recall any exes that I'm still friends with. You know, it's just something that happens, but it's one of those learning experiences where I want to be there for him, and I will stick up for him 100%. I do not think in the doghouse at all. That's what I'm going to say on my own poll. I think there's nothing wrong with the girl asking him, especially if she took a step back and she realized how busy his schedule was and realizing maybe he just forgot. You know, I mean, it's something as simple as that as just forgetting. There's nothing wrong with the girl asking the guy. It may not be traditional. It may not be the Cinderella ending, the glass slipper and all, but still, you want to go say something about it. That's my personal thought about that.
and it's not a big deal when it comes to high school because you have to remember, you know, young girls, they think that their relationship has to be exactly how it is in the movie that they saw,
Yep.
in the TV show that they saw, you know, like Prince Charming comes and picks him up with a rose in his mouth and the stallion or whatever these kids are watching these days, right?
Right.
And for guys, we think it's going to be a lot easier and it's a lot harder because again, like I said earlier, we think, oh yeah, I'm going to go talk to a girl, have a relationship with her, and it's going to be straight talk, but it's not. It's a lot of different, you know, here and there, this and that. But we have to remember to temper our expectations because you're not gonna walk into a situation and just take over the whole room.
Right.
And when it comes to high school, young kids and having those young relationships, you're gonna have to fall off that bike a couple times before you learn how to ride, buddy.
That's true. That's true. That's so true. And I have to let him do it by himself. I can give him as much advice as I possibly can, but he has to sink or swim, unfortunately, and most like 9 times out of 10, he's gonna sink. It's a learning curve that every person, guy, female, it doesn't matter, has to go through, you know? So, but, yeah, that's what we're facing in the Trevino household these days. It's just craziness and boyfriends and girlfriends and all that fun stuff, and it's a wonderful time to be a parent, for sure. You know, and that kind of brings me to my next topic I wanted to talk about, something that happened to myself as well just recently, actually. I learned that I could apply for unemployment because of why I quit my job. And if those who don't know, I had a stroke in January. I was out for 3 months. I recovered, went back. I was probably at work for 2 months or so, or 2 weeks or so, and then my numbers went cuckoo again, so I had to go on disability again for a month. Within that time frame, I decided not to go back to hospitality, so I quit. I left, and so it's been what, almost close to 3 months. I've been looking. I've been applying for places that I'm definitely qualified for. If you looked at my resume, it's stacked with management experience all over the place. But for whatever reason, can't get anyone to hire me. I don't know why. So I was looking through the EDD site, and I found that if you quit your job for health reasons, you can get benefits. Oh, cool, great. So I applied for it. I had to have a phone interview. That was fun. Let me tell you that. This past Monday. And I knew this person that I was going to talk to was going to be very corporate, very bland. They were going to take the emotions out of it. They deal with 100 something people a day and probably heard so many sob stories. They're over it by this point, right? So I had the interview with this lady. And what blew me away though was how she was trying to twist my words around and try to make me feel that it was my fault why the stroke happened. It was my fault why I left my job without any type of plan B type deal. And it was just really, really, I was expecting dry. I was expecting the corporate type of mindset. But that was just like no sympathy, no nothing whatsoever. And what kept going through my mind is I've been working since I was 16 years old. And this happened a long time ago when I needed the government's help. When Leah and I lived in Colorado and we got denied for benefits because I made $100 too much. That's where my mind started going back to. And now I'm like, okay, now I'm 45. I need the government's help. I'm not asking for much, just something. I still don't know if it's been approved or not. I was supposed to find out today, but no one called me. Go figure. But still, it's just one of those things like it's my money, it's my tax dollars going in there.
Yeah.
I want it. Why can't I have it? And it drove me freaking crazy. And I'm speechless, honestly. But what the hell's going on? No matter who's in charge, nothing changes unless something changes. What are your thoughts, Sam, on that?
It's a uh, it's a broken system that we live in, Jason. That's my thoughts on
Mm,
it.
mm,
And I'll give you an example. I mean, even state by state, the benefits that you get are wildly different, and the taxes are wildly different. And one of the things, and this is crazy, right? I don't I don't like to get too political on our channel, but I mean, inevitably it comes up because we live in a world full of politics and we live in a world full of opinions. And I'm just going to preface this before I get into it is we respect people that have a difference of opinion with us. We invite that peaceful debate and peaceful discourse from people. So if you want to comment and disagree with us, we love that because we love to have those conversations with people. But at the same time, we reject and we don't like anybody who's going to be name calling or attacking somebody's personal character over a disagreement. So that aside, right, when it comes to politics, we're living in a state right now that is heavily taxed, that has a really high cost of living. And one of the reasons why people come here, I mean, of course, is the nice weather and the melting pot of cultures and different people. And those are the things that we love about SoCal. But some people actually come here because of the benefits programs that we have here. Very lax on Medi-Cal, very lax on getting a driver's license, very lax on getting EDD, unemployment benefits, disability, things like that. But the reality is, look at the numbers and look at what's going on. If you're not a US citizen and you apply for benefits here, you're more likely to get approved than somebody who is a US citizen who's been paying into the tax system pretty much their entire life, who was either born here or naturalized as a US citizen, right? That doesn't make you better if you're born here. You can be naturalized as a US citizen and work for it and get the same benefits that you and I get. I have no problem with that because legal immigration is great. Immigrants built our country and they continue to bring value and bring culture and bring diversity to our country. And we need more great immigrants that come here legally. And there's nothing wrong with somebody wanting a better life. There's nothing wrong with somebody wanting to come here and help their family and to work hard and to build something bigger and better for their family, their legacy, and their future. But we have laws and rules and laws for a reason because we want things to be built legally. And unfortunately, we live in a state where our tax dollars from people who are working and paying into the tax system are being given to people who don't work, who don't contribute to the tax system, who don't contribute to society monetarily. And the problem is that good people like you, Jason, are pretty much stripped of your benefits that you've worked for your entire life, declined, right? I mean, even I've applied for benefits and when like, in times when I need it the most, and I've been declined, and they said, "Well, you still make too much." Like, literally, like, the Orange County sent me a letter saying, "You make too much to get a Medi-Cal." So,
That's
what do I
sad.
have to do? I have to go and pay hundreds of dollars a month to go buy health insurance. It's like, that's another financial strain,
Mm,
and we live in a system where it's not something that is going to benefit the masses. Really, it isn't. It's so that politicians can win political sway. And that's
mm,
I'm delving from facts to opinion, right? But my opinion is shared by many people, and you could share your opinion here as well too, is that I believe our benefits system was built in a way to win votes for the politicians who
100%.
are giving it out,
Yeah,
right?
100%. Yeah, 100%. They, no matter who is in power, they use every single last loophole they possibly can to pull on our heartstrings so they get those votes. Half the time, I don't see any changes. I really don't. Or if there was, they don't have enough time within the 4 years they've been in office and such. So every politician, in my personal opinion, lies just to get the votes, and they want that power, so their party rules as well. I don't care if you are Republican, Democrat, left, right. I really don't care. I honestly don't care. We are the human race. It's just that simple. And just like that metaphor I used on the last episode about the ants in the cup, we can't keep hurting each other. We can't keep fighting among each other because at the end of the day, these parties don't care. All they care about is you get the power. That's all they care. They don't care about us. We are expendable in their eyes, which is the saddest part of it all. Very sad.
Sad. And the people of this country and the people of this world have become political pawns for those that are in power. And that kind of segues into my topic a little bit, but I'm gonna go about it this way. So there are definitely agendas that are at play when it comes
Mm,
to information, right? Would you agree, Jason, that the way that we're presented with news, whether it's from the right, Fox News, the left, CNN, MSNBC, and all these other news agencies, that they're not pushing it to inform the people. They're more in line with an agenda. Do you agree or disagree with that statement?
I agree. One 100%. Like I said, they want the power and they try to control us by only allow us to hear what they want us to hear. And when it doesn't benefit their side, you don't hear anything about it. That goes for both sides, honestly. It goes for both sides. 100% it is.
I'm not saying that one side is doing it more than the other.
Yeah.
I know both sides are doing it. That's why taking a stance on I'm right and I'm against left, I'm left and I'm against right, you actually play into that system and you play right into their hands because the news profits off of shock and awe media. That's why
Mhm.
they love to show you the leftiest of the left and the rightiest of the right, is what I like to say when it comes to portraying the left and the right. And when they do that, it brings shock and sometimes disgust and anger from the opposite side when they see that. But
Right.
here's the problem that we're running into in this world, and this is my topic, Jason.
Mhm.
We're running out of bandwidth as a society, as people, to think critically on our own and instead follow an authoritative voice, an authoritative narrative, an authoritative source. And I get this a lot when I talk politics with people like out and about. They always want to know what your source is, what your source is. Having sources is important because you have to source the material. using the news, saying I saw this on the news is not an authoritative a source in my opinion, because then you start to rely on somebody is bringing me the truth instead of I'm finding the truth, is the point I'm trying to make here. Because if I tell you that something is happening, like we said earlier, there is benefits being used by politicians to gain votes. If you were to ask me for a source for that, there's no one source for that. That's a conclusion that I came up with reading reading things from both sides, right? Because if you demand to see a source for that, then you're admitting that there's somebody out there that's telling the truth and that there's an arbiter of truth instead of us finding our own truth. An example of that would be me formulating an opinion based on what I see politicians or what I see somebody say, as opposed to regurgitating what somebody else thinks about it and regurgitating somebody else's opinion,
Hmm.
which is a bad thing, right? And look at the wars that are going on in the world right now. You have Russia versus Ukraine still going on. You have Israel versus Palestine still going on. And now you have Israel is paying influencers, is paying social media influencers that are right wing to edit and make certain posts up to $7,000 post. And I've come across this from a lot of conservatives, because you have a group of conservatives that are, no, you can never talk bad about Israel because it's going to bring about the end times. And the Bible says that Israel is the chosen people of God. But then you have other people that are saying, well, wait a second. And this is my stance here, Jason. I'm not criticizing the people of Israel. If I want to call out something bad that the people in power are doing, I am not an anti Semite for doing that. If I want to call out the fact that Representative Matt Gaetz went to Israel on a diplomatic trip, and when he came back to his hotel room, there were Israeli agents that broke into his hotel room and were searching through his stuff, a United States politician. And he posted about this on X. And then other politicians, basically, the answer to him were, that's normal. They come into your room and they look through your stuff and don't leave your phone. They're like, our advice to you, Representative Gates, don't leave your phone in your room because they'll go through it and they'll download it. Like that's acceptable. That's acceptable to them,
Crazy.
right?
It's crazy.
And this is from, it's called APAC. It's Israeli Partnership and Committee or something like that.
Mhm.
Basically, I don't remember the exact terminology for APAC, but what they do is that they're a lobby group from Israel that comes over and wins over the hearts and minds of American politicians to make sure that they stay pro-Israel, that they don't deviate from that. Here's the problem, right? And it comes to our own government too. We as American citizens, we have not a right but a duty to question our own government if they do something shady, if they do
Mhm.
something bad. If we have a bad president in power, we need to speak up and say something about it. If we have law enforcement or somebody else doing something bad, we have to speak up about it. So, that being said, if we as Americans have a duty to say that about our own country, why the hell can't we call it out when it's some other country? Because I am a Christian. I believe that the Israelites are the people of God, but at the same time, I'm America first, not Israel first. Percent. What is your opinion about that, Jason?
I'm with you, man. I'm 100% on that type of matter as well. Yes, they are the chosen people, but yes, it is America by all standards as well. So yeah, I'm with you 100% on that one. Sure.
Yeah, because again, we need to critically think about this. That's what I'm calling on you and I'm calling on everyone else that listens here. We need to not take a I'm right and this is my opinion and that's I stand in line with the right, or I'm left and this is my opinion, I stand in line with the left. We need to critically think and formulate our own opinions based on the information that we're digesting. We need to digest information from both sides and multiple sources and to dive into articles when you get something sent to you and you're just reading the Instagram picture title and you're not looking into the article to see what it says, you're playing into the narrative of that news agency. Look into it and read. Critically digest the information that you're getting so that you can formulate your own opinion. Because if you listed out all of Donald Trump, President Trump, my beloved president, I love Donald Trump, but if you listed out everything that he believes and thinks and does, I'm not going to agree with 100% of it. Why? Because I critically think and I formulate my own opinions. And I think some of the things he does are not good for the country, but I think the major hot buttons, the ones that are the most juicy, are the ones that he's doing that are good for the country. Now, you can call me a lefty, you can call me a righty. I don't really care, man. I'm my own person. I'm my own identity. See what I'm saying there? And if you're not coming to your own conclusions and and you're not able to back up your opinion, right? If I tell you, Jason, why do you like wrestling? Are you just gonna say, well, you know, it's fun and it's nice and I like wrestling and you know that's just the way it is? Or are you gonna be able to name some of the top wrestlers? You're gonna be able to name some of the events and you're gonna be able to back up your love of wrestling, WWE, with actual facts. And I'm not going to be able to come in and argue with you about WWE, throwing some facts at you because you're going to know more about it because that's something that you're into. The same it has to be said about all our beliefs,
Yeah.
right?
Yep. You're
Yeah,
right.
yeah. So if you're challenged as a Christian, Jason, as a Christian, if a Muslim or a Jew or somebody else, right? I'm not talking bad about religions here. Just I
Hmm.
want to say it like this, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm just using this example because Jason's a Christian. You can see the cross behind him. If you're challenged about your religion with somebody else that has some knowledge about it, are you going to be knowledgeable enough to have a peaceful discourse with them, peaceful debate, and tell them why you believe Jesus Christ was the resurrected Savior,
Hmm.
right? And you're not, and you wouldn't have to resort to an emotional, well, oh my God, don't challenge me on my beliefs because I believe what I believe in and I'm not going to explain myself. And, you know, it's that time of month and I'm going to bed right now. That's not how we respond to that. Right.
Right. It's totally fine to ask questions. You should always ask questions
Yeah.
because why should you believe just because someone gets on a stage and spews some things out of a book that they're right? You should be able to ask questions, and they should be able to give you that peaceful rebuttal. And if they do freak out on you, well, then there you go. Maybe they're not the best resource, I guess you could say, as well. Yeah.
Well, the best thing to do if somebody challenges you and you're just not knowledgeable about it is to retreat a little bit and to say, you know what? You know, I don't know as much as I thought I did about this. Maybe I should do some more research. And that's what we should do because we don't want to get involved in something that we're not even looking at all sides of the facts. And the same
Exactly.
thing.
And you hit it right on the button perfectly as well as far as retreating because there's no shame in letting someone know, you know what, I don't know all that subject, or I know some of this, but what the questions you were asking, I don't know the answers to. Let me go find them for you, or let's find them together. And again, it's working together. It's not hating each other just because you believe something and I don't. I had a good friend a long time ago, one of my best friends in the world. He was a Mormon and I'm a Christian. Oil and water, right? We've been told from like day one, you got to hate the Mormons. They have no idea what they're talking about. That dude was the nicest and kindest person I've ever met, honestly. And he's the one who kind of helped me through my teenage years when I was kind of a rebel. And the Christian friends honestly didn't. They didn't help me, but he was the one that did. So you can't tell me not to hate the Mormon. I'm not going to. Because he was a representative of that faith, the kindness and love that he showed me. There's no reason why we don't hate each other. There really isn't. So when people see that kind of stuff, I'm like, do you actually know that faith? Have you met somebody in that faith? Just because they have different views and they act differently and they wear certain things, it doesn't mean that they're weird. It doesn't mean that we should hate them. It doesn't mean we should go looking for them and run them over on the street or something like that. If you actually took the time and learned about their heritage, learned about their religion as well, you might actually see where they're coming from. And You never know. He died a long time ago because of cancer, unfortunately. But you never know. He could have came over to my side. Well, you never know. I could have came over to his. You just never know, right? It's just how things worked out. So I mean, my point is, just because someone says, just like you were saying earlier, just because you see a highlighted thing and you take that for granted, and that's where you go for, you're craving into their agenda. And again, like I was told from day one, at least to me, it felt like we were supposed to hate the Mormons because they're wackos. They have no idea what they're talking about. They're human too, and like I said, they're by the kindest people in the world as far as what I saw. At least that one person that I had interaction with and his family. His family was awesome. They were great. So I saw nothing wrong with them. Yeah.
Here's one lesson in life that I want to teach everybody. If somebody's telling you that everything I say is right, don't ask any questions about it, run from that person.
Mm,
If somebody's telling you do not associate with somebody else that's not like you, run from that person. Right. And it's not just about race either. People say that if you don't believe in if you don't vote my way, if you don't believe in my beliefs, if you don't cling on to the same beliefs that I have, or you don't say the same things that I say, don't associate with me, don't be my friend, run from that person.
hmm
Because we're in a world where openness, embracing and loving each other, I believe that's Christ's way. And Christ told us to not only love our neighbors, but love our enemies as well too.
mm
In fact, I don't believe that somebody who doesn't think like you is your enemy at all. And that person should be loved, and you should show the same respect that you get. And if they don't give you respect, Jesus, what does the Bible say, Jason? It says to pray for them.
Yeah. Very true.
If they're
Very true.
against you, if they throw a rock at you,
Right.
pray for them. If they show hatred for what you love, just love them back. But you can love them from a distance if you need to protect yourself.
Yeah. You
It's
pray.
totally fine.
Yeah. You would just pray for those who persecute you. That's
Yes,
that's the that that's the golden rule.
that's right. That's absolutely right. Well, I was it's funny because I was looking at this thing online. It's called flat like shoot can I remember the name of this? There's 4 personality traits.
Hmm
And I'm looking up the name of it here. I'm like totally changing the subject here because this was interesting and I just heard about it today because I was on a call with my therapist earlier,
hmm
and we were talking about careers and my future and looking for something better in life. And he's talking about like Uber driving, and he's like, "What's one of the reasons why you like doing Uber driving besides you need to pay the bills?" And I said, "Actually, I love serving people. I have that personality where I like to be of service to people, and it brings me joy if I can help somebody in their everyday life, even if it's as simple as holding the door open for them, grabbing their groceries, or giving them a ride somewhere." And that stuff like that does bring me a little bit of joy. And he says, "Sam, based on that and our other talks that we've had, you sound like a phlegmatic. You have a phlegmatic temperament." I'm like, "What's that?" There's 4 temperaments. There's 4 temperaments, and I don't know what the other ones are. I should have done more research. I just didn't have time to do that. But I'm going to tell you about the phlegmatic temperament, which is the one that he says aligns with me. So phlegmatics are typically calm and composed. So they're known for their calm demeanor. They tend to remain composed in stressful situations, often acting as peacemakers in conflicts. They're typically reliable and loyal friends or partners. So once they form a bond, they are likely to maintain it for life, valuing stability in relationships. They tend to avoid conflict and take a step back during disagreements. They love a preference for routine, structured, predictable lifestyles, and they're thoughtful but cautious decision makers. So they don't typically rush into decisions. They actually like to weigh their options very much, which can sometimes lead to procrastination. So it's really cool
hmm
because there's like a table right here. The strengths of a phlegmatic: reliable, loyal, calm under pressure, good listeners, empathetic and supportive, consistent and patient are the strengths, but the weaknesses are may struggle with assertiveness, can be indecisive, tendency to procrastinate, may avoid conflict to a fault, resistance to change. And I bring this up because one of the things that we tend to do is we focus too much on the outside, trying to understand everybody. Like earlier, we are talking about how to understand women, to understand our relationships with other people. But the one thing that we forget to do is to look inward and understand ourselves. And today I felt like I gained another level of self-understanding when I saw this phlegmatic. And there's four temperaments. I don't know which one you are because I don't know what the other ones are. It's pretty cool to learn these things and to dive into yourself. What do you think about that?
I mean, those things are very, very useful because it helps you one identify yourself, your strength, your weaknesses, and how you communicate and how you function throughout the day. And then also, if you have a husband, a wife, brother, sister, whatever, it helps you understand what they are. And if you actually take those tests together or whatever, however you figure that out, and you actually understand each other's letters or whatnot, you know how to communicate with each other. Because that's probably the most frustrating thing about any relationship at all is communication. It's the way how you communicate with somebody is not the same way you should communicate with me. The way, same way how I communicate with you, it's not the same way I communicate with my wife. It's different. It has to be different because you guys are not the same person. Obviously, sometimes you may act like it, but you're not the same person. Therefore, it's a different style of communication. So that's what it pretty much comes down to. Those things are extremely useful. 100%.
Absolutely, and that also reminds me of one of the first things that when I got into a serious relationship with Kat, my girl,
Hmm.
is we both brought. Well, she brought up. She says, "Sam, do you know about the five love?" Like I kind of remember that. I don't remind me what that is, and she reminded me. She told me what those are. Are we still up? And the five love language, I'm gonna talk about them right now. Why does it say? Okay, sorry, stupid thing is saying something. So the five love languages are, and I'm gonna talk about them right now, are words of affirmation,
Hmm.
acts of service, receiving and giving gifts, quality time, and physical touch. And one of the things that, yeah, I don't know why the visual effects stopped on my thing, but that's fine. People can look at my Tennessee license plate right there. It's fine. But anyway, so words of affirmation, acts of service, gift giving and receiving, quality time, and physical touch. And one of the things that you want to understand with your partner is which love language are they?
Hmm.
Which love language are they, and which love language are you? And can we show each other love through those different love languages? And I immediately identified, well, I'm very much feel loved with physical touch. I mean, this is something that I got early on as a kid. My mom gave me a lot of physical affection when I was growing up. A lot of hugging, squeezing, a lot of kisses and nuzzling. And I got that a lot growing up from my mom. So as an adult, I feel very loved when I get that from my partner.
Of course.
And yeah, it's definitely understandable. The next one was what I identified was words of affirmation, expressing love through spoken words, praise, appreciation, compliments, kind words. But then when I started to be in a relationship, deeper in a relationship with her, one of the things I realized was my stronger love language for number two was acts of service.
Mm.
And it wasn't so much receiving the acts of service, but what was giving the acts of service. So showing love by doing things for your partner, such as chores, cooking, running errands, actions that speak louder than words. I realized I felt loving as a loving person when I did acts of service for my partner.
Mm.
And I'm like, holy crap, yeah, that's a big love language for me.
It works, right? Yeah.
Yeah. And then I
Yeah.
started to see in my parents' relationship and other people's relationships, like with and love language doesn't have to be with your lover. It can be with your parents, it could be with your siblings, it could be with your friend, right? Love
Yeah.
languages work in pretty much all relationships. And with my mom, I realized she's very much a gift giver. She likes to show her love through giving gifts, small and big. It could
Mhm.
be like one of the things that my mom will say, "I miss you, I love you, I'm gonna send you something." She'll just send me a book. It's not
Mhm.
an expensive gift, but it's a loving gift with a little note in there saying, "I love you, son," right? And I love
Yeah.
receiving those. I
It's
love
showing that
getting
she's thinking of you and caring for you in general. Yeah.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
That's cool.
And the love languages that Kat identified with me was she said, "Well, Sam, it's gonna have to be quality time." Quality time was my number one.
Mhm.
Love language. So quality time is spending meaningful time together, engaging in conversations, sharing experiences, and giving your undivided attention. And that's a big one for her. So, you could say, well, I give a lot of quality time to my partner because we're always home together, but that's not quality time, right? If I'm, talking to you and you're looking to your left and talking to somebody, you're looking to your right, talking to somebody, that's not quality time. That's not undivided attention or looking at your phone
Right.
or playing a game, right? Or on your computer. That's not quality time. So quality time is undivided attention. But I bring this up because the human condition requires us to get into something deeper than just the analytical, the face, right? It's not always just the
Yeah.
words that we say or what we do together. It's so much more complex, the human condition, and understanding ourselves and understanding each other is so important. I guess that's my overarching topic right there.
Yeah. Now, Leah and I did this when we were first getting married. We even did it just recently as well. And one of my biggest things was I think that the biggest one I have is quality time. That's the love language that's my biggest love language. That's in words of affirmation.
Okay.
Leah's definitely yeah, Leah's is definitely a physical touch for her as well. So that's something that I've had to work on a lot because when I was growing up, yes, my parents were both very loving parents. They were 100%. They did the best they could. My dad was and is a workaholic for sure. So he wasn't around as much. And when he would go to those sporting events that I have had, he was there, and he'll even admit this to himself, or he has admitted this. He was there, but half the time his mind was on work as well. So the physical touch, I've gotten better. I definitely still need to work on it for sure. But for me, the quality time and words of affirmation are big for me as well. I got it when I was a kid, yes, but being the only child, it was very hard to make friends. I got bullied a lot. I got in a lot of fights. I had to learn how to defend myself quickly, and that's probably why I am very standoffish to people for sure. If I'm an introvert at heart, and when someone gets mad at me and leaves me alone, I'm like, "You're telling an introvert you don't want to talk to them? Who do you think is going to win that battle?" You know? I mean, so it's just one of those things where that's just how we were acquired or the wired. I should say wired. That's how we're wired. Yes. So yeah.
So it's important to know your partner's love languages and to always keep that top of mind.
Mhm.
Yep. So now I know that yours is quality time and words of affirmation.
Yes. Yes. Other
But
than every time that you and I can call each other names and all that stuff, that's fine and dandy. But yes, words of affirmation do mean a lot. Yes.
nah, the
Well,
names are affection. Those are words of
that's true.
affirmation.
See, we have our own ways of communicating with each other as
It's
well.
like a
Compared,
whole new love language.
I wouldn't dare talk to my wife the way I talk to you. No way in hell that was going to happen. I'd be, I would be moving in with you if I ever did that. Okay. He would. I can attest to that. He would. We might have to edit that part out. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Gratches is on Twitch too. That's why. Hopefully all right. All right.
It's okay. I don't think anybody's watching us on Twitch right now. So, but they better. We
They
need,
will eventually.
dude. We need to like. By the way, we need to write like a Twitch bio and do all that stuff because I'm like looking on the Twitch and
Mhm.
there's like no bio. There's no nothing on there.
Well, this is the first time we actually even touched it, so we weren't going to use it. So now you're saying
Well,
we are
yeah,
going to
of
use it.
course.
You
This is
damn
like a.
right.
I didn't even know it was gonna work or not. So that's yeah, it was a test run.
Right, yes, we will.
But for next one, we
We'll,
will write a
we'll
Twitch
make it.
bio and all that
We'll
good
make
stuff.
the bio. We'll make it all pretty, nice colors for you and everything. A little bow on top for you. Okay, that's what we'll do for you, just for
Yes,
you, Sam. All
I
right,
like it to look pretty.
all the fruity colors you like for sure.
Yes. That's right. With rainbows and sunshine and ponies.
There you go. Have a little pony floating around.
Yes, sir.
Well, folks, I think this is it. We are ending a little early this time, but hope you all enjoyed our little rants. And by all means, feel free to comment on what you guys liked, what you didn't like, what you agreed, or if you disagree, that's fine. All we ask is you keep it professional, keep it courteous, and we'll do the same as well. We would love to have some comments to where we can bring on the next show as well. So, yeah, Sam, you have everything else before we let these fine people go?
Comment below if you want Jason to shave off his beard.
The second someone calls me for an actual face-to-face interview, this will come up. Okay?
I don't like being long. I like it.
Not this weekend, but next weekend. I'm going on that men's retreat. Remember that retreat you said I never invited you for?
Yeah,
even
you
though I
never
sent you
invited me to that. What men's retreat?
I
What are you
sent you like
talking about?
1,000 messages. But whatever, whatever. I'm going there next weekend, and this thing is probably going to get. If I don't have a job by then, it's probably going to come out to here by the time I get back. You know, I'm going to go up to the mountains, come down like Moses. Everything's going to be shining. My face is going to be shining. Everything's going to be shining coming down from the mountain. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see.
Call you Lumberjack Jason.
One of my friends said he was going to shave it for me. And I said, no, you don't need to shave it for me. I told him, just like I told you, the second I have a face-to-face interview, this will come off. Until then, it's staying on and it's going to flourish. It's going to come this big pushy thing. Because my hair just goes like this. It doesn't go this. It'll go like this. So
Nah, your employers are watching right here, so you need to
anytime,
stay
my phone's on. All right, trust me, as many times Sam calls me on this damn thing, I know it works. Anyone else want to call this actually can give me some money, call me. Let's go it.
You don't need the seniors tutorial on how to answer the phone again?
No, I don't. That's long past. I've answered it. Don't worry.
Okay.
Goodness gracious.
All right, everybody. Well, thank you so much for tuning in. We're at the 52-minute mark. It wasn't that long of an episode compared to some of the other ones, but you know what? We'll go 3 hours next week. How about that?
No boy. Oh, goodness gracious. All right, everyone. Enjoy your day. Enjoy your nights, weekend, weekday, whatever you see this. And we'll see you on the flippity flop. All right.
Peace out.
See ya.